Hello. So today I've just got a lot of prep work. We're having a get together tomorrow and I need to get some stuff made for tomorrow. And then I need to make a bunch of ground beef. So they had ground beef on sale this week and I bought a ton of it because I never really buy it throughout the year unless there's something really specific. And then I have to pay, whatever they're charging. So it was on sale this week and it was a good quality. So what I did was pick up quite a bit of it and now I want to prep it and get it saved so that it doesn't go bad. Let's start by making burger patties. I have a few of these left. I thought I had another pack, but I don't see it anywhere. But there might be enough. Otherwise I've got there's quite a few there. So let's do that. All right, so what I have is this garlic and pepper seasoning. When I bought this, I thought it was just garlic and pepper, and I was excited because I use those a lot. But the main ingredient is salt, and when I used it, it was pretty salty, and I was not real thrilled with that. So I'm just gonna start using it to use it up, basically. Hopefully it doesn't ruin this, but I won't use too much. And I'll probably need to add some just plain pepper. And then I've got onion powder. It says dried shallots, but it's whatever. And since this doesn't have salt in it, it gets pretty gummed up in there. I think this is the last one of this that I have. So I'd like to use this up too. Oh, I did make my own onion powder a while ago. I think it was last summer. And I haven't really been able to use it because I had so many of these little things. I think I had like 3, but I don't use onion powder a ton. I'm on a mission to that's a lot, to stock my shelves with stuff that I made. So I'm anxious to get into my own onion powder. I think this is my last little container of onion powder. So that is exciting. Maybe I can use it up today. We'll see. Then when I make burgers, use this. My husband really likes mango. And actually this has garlic and onion in it. He really likes mango and I always put this in his meat mix when I make burgers. And he always says the burgers are really good. Don't remember where I bought this because I bought it like 4 years ago and I only use it once in a while because I don't keep ground beef around a whole lot. So you get to use it. Kind of clumpy. It is pretty old, but I don't care.
Maybe you should check websites to see who sells them.
Yeah, maybe I will. I'll just mix this all up.
Yeah, it looks like worms.
It's ground beef. What's in this?
Yeah.
It's just beef and seasonings.
It's cow.
Yeah. Seasoned cow. So I'm obviously not tasting this because this is raw meat, but also I will never taste this because I don't eat burgers. So I really have to go by what my husband tells me. In the last few times he said this was good, so that's what I have. I've got my little patties here, or my sheets. He usually likes them thinner because they shrink up, but not too thin, because that's no fun either, apparently. It's probably fine. If I get 12 out of this, I think this will be fine. This is about 3 pounds of meat. So what would that be? 12 burgers, 3 pounds, quarter pound a piece. Seems like a lot. Really like to use up a lot of my stuff, like seasoning, pantry items and things like that, because some of these things, like I bought, that Mango Magic, and I've had it for so long because I only use it on one thing. So it would be nice if I could use some of that stuff up and either buy new stuff or use other stuff. I have a pepper seasoning too that would be good. I hardly ever use it because I have other things. So I'd really like to just get through some of these weird spices that I have. I wonder too, maybe I should do 2 packs of burgers. All right, so I got 12 burgers out of that. So they're roughly a quarter pound a piece, although they're a little uneven. It's fine. Yeah, these ones are super thick. What I just decided is I'm going to do another pack because I think what I ended up with was 8 packs. And they're still on sale as of Tuesday, so it's Sunday, and the sale goes till Tuesday. So hopefully I can get this all figured out, all the meat. And then if I decide to go get more, I won't have to worry about having so much because this stuff's all done already. so I'm going to do another pack of burgers. And if I have 24 burgers, because I think really my husband eats them and my son eats them, my older son. Girls don't really eat them, the baby won't eat them, and I don't eat them. 24 burgers might just last, and then I don't have to worry about making them like at the time. I think that's the plan. It's a good plan. And then I can use up the rest of my onion powder. All right, so I have 2 bags of burgers with 12 in a piece. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is meatballs. I'm just gonna use the same bowl. The seasonings are a little different. They're close enough. I'm gonna use Italian style breadcrumbs. I took inventory. I have stuff I need to use up. This is one of them, is Italian style breadcrumbs. So I have this, which is almost empty, and I'll finish off. And then this one's unopened. So I'm going to use these, try and use a good chunk of them up today, and then go from there. But I'm gonna do meatballs. I need some onion, breadcrumbs, and eggs. I don't know what else goes in them. I'm not like a meatball maker. I've made them once before. My son and I made them, and I think we made like over 200, which seems ridiculous, but they lasted a really long time. I'm not making that many today. I don't remember what we put in them. I think it was like Italian seasoning, onion, and eggs. That's all I can remember, really. So I guess that's what I'm going with. And really, like, it's not like a big deal for me to have a ton because only my husband and my older son eats them. The rest of us in the family really just aren't big ground beef people, I guess. Most of the time this stuff's for them, which is also why I like to prep it ahead, because if I ask my husband, like, do you want burgers for dinner? He'll say no, because I'm the only one that likes them. This makes it easier to allow him to have the things he likes if they're prepped ahead, and he can just grab what he wants out of there. And the last time I made meatballs, we packaged them in like bags with a dozen in each bag. And it was nice, but I think maybe I'll do like 16 or 18 this time, because a dozen, my husband was kind of like, I could use some more meatballs. I'll do a little extra. And then I'm pretty sure these need to be cooked before they're frozen. I think I cooked them last time. Pretty sure I did, so they should be fine. My water's boiling too. I got macaroni going. Hey, you want to dump the macaroni in? See, this one was crooked, so it leaked all over my fridge. So I'll have to clean the fridge when I'm done with all this too. I think, from what I've heard, and I think this is what I did last time, it's 1 egg per pound of meat. I'll just dump these in. Gotta pre-scramble the eggs. Okay, so I don't actually know what kind of seasonings this needs. The breadcrumbs are pretty heavily seasoned with Italian. I think I'm just gonna ball this up and call it a day, man. Well, not call it a day, but call it a day with these. Okay, so I apparently didn't hit film. Got a greased cookie sheet. I am scooping with my small scoop. And I don't know how many I'm gonna get. It'll just be a surprise. But what I was saying before I realized I was talking to nobody is that last time I made these, but I just took this cookie scoop and dropped them on the pan like that, and then I cooked them. And apparently that was wrong because they all fell apart. And they were just like meat blobs that were crumbling everywhere. Sure, they tasted fine. They were definitely not some high quality meatballs. So this time I shall roll them and see if they hold together a little better. Plus I made the onions a little smaller. Last time the onions were kind of big. I don't know if I made that into a video last time, but that would have been way, like, maybe even 2 summers ago. We don't use meatballs a lot. So hopefully that stays together. Looks a lot nicer. All right, so this pan's got 48, and then I've still got maybe a third left. So I'm gonna throw this in the oven at 350 and then try to turn them halfway. So I'm a little surprised. These actually smell really good. And I'm surprised because I don't like meatballs.
What is that?
They're meatballs. They're pretty not brown on the bottom though. So yes, meatballs.
Wait, what's that? Meat?
Oh my god.
But that's meat.
Meat. Oh. Meatballs.
Oh, meatballs.
So I think I will give these another minute or so they get brown on the bottom before I flip them. Okay, so these have been in for a couple more minutes. They smell so good. Wish I liked them. These are like flipped enough. I moved them around so that they're not stuck to the bottom. And I'm happy to say they're not falling apart either, which is awesome. Here they are. They're 160, the temperature needs to be. I just looked it up, so I'm an expert now. Honestly, I hope these taste great because they smell delicious and I'm really proud of them. They're all sticking together. Oh, not sticking together, but staying together in their ball form. Hopefully they're delicious. I should probably write down the recipe, but I guess I filmed it so I can look back at this. Okay, so the next thing I'm doing is little tiny meatloaves. I have one package that I'm doing for meatloaf, and I'm not sure how many of these I get. I will get, but I have 4 of them, and this will be plenty. Like, they'll probably just divide it in half and each eat half. So I did find a recipe I looked up quick. Looks pretty basic. I have 3 of these, and I started making my own breadcrumbs, which I made last summer. I was into like dehydrating because I got a new dehydrator last summer, and I was dehydrating a lot of stuff. So I was making breadcrumbs, but then I ended up with these. And I don't remember if they were in that stuff that I get from my friend. It's like her overflow stuff, or if these were just hiding in my pantry. But I have 3 of these plain breadcrumbs that I need to use. And I'm kind of standing here trying to decide if I should use mine or if I should use these. But these probably are full of preservatives, so they'll last longer and they're toasted. So I don't know. We'll just, I'll probably use mine, just because I think that's fun and satisfying to use my own stuff. I'm loosely using this recipe. I'm mostly using it for the sauce part because I don't usually put sauce on meatloaf, but the last time I made meatloaf was like high school, so I don't really have a good basis for it. I might be remembering wrong. Maybe it did have sauce. I should probably call my dad and ask him because it was his recipe. I'll just put the sauce on because I need to use up the ketchup. Alrighty, so these will be very similar to the meatballs, which I think are smelling amazing. So I'm okay with that. Oh yeah, I need the meat. Hoping I can fill those 4 little containers. They're quite small, and this is 3 3.33 pounds. So the recipe said to use milk, and it said 1 egg for 2 pounds. But since I have over 3, I'm gonna do 2 eggs, maybe a 3rd egg. So I've got these breadcrumbs. Ooh. Let's use all of those. Garlic powder, pepper, parsley because I like it. It smells so good. And then this is steakhouse seasoning. I'm pretty sure this was from Dollar Tree because that looks like their brand. But this is one of those that I don't use very often. So this to me is kind of a good way to use it because this is just beef. It's boring and it has no taste. And then the ketchup, which I hate. I mean, ketchup is really gross. It said half a cup. That was for 2 pounds. So we'll just do like that much. Okay, so I just moved my phone, obviously, because you're over here now, and it dropped out of my holder and almost landed in this. And if my phone eternally smelled like ketchup, I would have to get a new phone. I wouldn't even be able to stand it. I hate ketchup so much. One of my kids had ketchup hands once and they ran up and tried to hug me. Got it on my shirt. I had to go change. It was awful. Such a whiner. Oh, I forgot the onion powder because I had it in my jar. This is my onion powder that I made because I used up the other onion powder in that other recipe. And I think this needs more breadcrumbs too. Okay, so I'm gonna divide this into quarters and then put them into one of these pans and just see how full it is, because this might be way too much for one, or it might not be enough. So let's find out. This looks like it'll be perfect. All right. Looks pretty good, huh? Got some colors in there. All right, that's what we're going with then. And I think I'm going to freeze these raw. I'll look up and see if that's something I can do because I honestly don't know. I think my husband's gonna be thrilled to have this because like I said, I don't think I've ever made a meatloaf for him because I think they're gross. Okay, so the sauce for this, and I can link the recipe for you. As far as the meatloaf recipe goes, I didn't follow that really, but the sauce was intriguing. So it said it's ketchup, brown sugar, apricot preserves, which I don't have, and I didn't know I was going to use a recipe for this, otherwise I would have picked it up. But I do have orange marmalade, which should give it that same sweetness, which I think is why you would use a preserve like that. So I'm going to try that. I think for 2 of them, I'll do it without the orange, and then 2 of them I will do the orange, because if it ends up too sweet, I don't want to like ruin them all. There was, okay, let me think now. It was brown sugar, ketchup, Worcestershire, and the apricot preserves. So, yeah. So what I'm gonna do too, because this you're not supposed to put on until like halfway through the cooking process. And since I'm freezing these, I don't want to have to mess around with this later. So I'm just going to put it in a little bag and put it with the meatloaf. Then it'll be ready to go. And I don't know if this will work or not, but you know, it's worth a try. It smells like barbecue. Could have just used barbecue. Actually, it really smells like barbecue. Kind of smells like Sweet Baby Ray's. Holy crap. If I didn't have such a hatred for ketchup, I might try this. Just really hate ketchup. That's really interesting. I've never made barbecue before. That's what this is, apparently. All right, let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna color code these, and I will forget, so help me remember. Yeah, red is gonna be with no sweet jelly in it. How much do you even use? That looks like a lot. I can probably split that. I just have a little tiny meatloaf. Feel like that would be enough? I don't know. That's not gonna be enough. Let's mix a little more. And honestly, like, if this is how you make barbecue, maybe I do have a use for all the ketchup I have. Because I cannot believe how much this smells like Sweet Baby Ray's. And I love Sweet Baby Ray's. Oops, what a slob. Okay, you guys help me remember, and note to future self. Red does not have the marmalade. Yellow will. Guess yellow is closer to orange, but still not really. It's actually just as far away as red. Feels closer. Whoops. It's too much, Bob. And see, now I'm gonna have to make orange chicken because I opened that. Still smells pretty barbecue-y. All right, I'm going to get this all cleaned up and on to the next thing, I guess. Keep on cruising. My husband just got home. He eyeballed the meatballs. His reaction was so good, I'm forcing him to recreate it. So this is a recreated, or what do they call that? A reenactment.
Oh, phenomenal.
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 Look at that. That's it, you ate 2. That's all you get. So now I don't have to worry about which bag to put the 2 extra in, because they're gone. And they're phenomenal, apparently. All right, so I'm gonna take a minute and bag these up so they can go into the freezer. Actually, I'm getting a special delivery right now. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna do this first. So I've got 2 packs of ground beef that I'm going to just cook so that I can bag it up, and then we'll have cooked ground beef ready to go. If you've never done that, it's super convenient to have around, and it's really nice. So I do that a lot, and we're gonna keep doing it. So I'll get that going. Got my pan here. Oh, this didn't have a diaper in it. Weird. It's dripping everywhere. All right, so I'll get this on the stove cooking, and then I'll bag those up. To mark the bags first. Marker sucks. Yeah, these all stay together this time. Actually rolled them into like balls like you're supposed to. All right, this is done. I got a little bit of grease here that'll have to drain off, and I'm gonna let this cool, and then I will bag it up and put it in the freezer. Okay, so the next thing I'm making, and the last thing I believe for this, is taco meat. I love having taco meat ready to go in the freezer. It just makes it so much quicker, especially if I don't plan ahead. So I'm gonna do this in 2 batches because I don't want it to be too heaping. It's easier to work in smaller quantities. And I always use the Instant Pot for my taco meat because I don't like the texture of ground beef, which is why I don't eat burgers and meatballs and all this other yummy stuff we're making today. But I do eat taco meat because I'm very particular about how I make it. And if anybody else has texture issues, this might be the recipe that makes you like taco meat. So I'm going to just start with the saute function and brown this meat. And I'm just doing it in the Instant Pot because it's easier and I already have my other pan with that other meat in it. You can definitely do this on the stove and transfer it over. I've done that plenty of times. However is easiest for you, and what's your preference, your kitchen, do what you want. But I'm doing it like this today. So I'm gonna let that brown and I'm gonna start dishing up the other beef, 2 portions. It's pretty well cooled, but it's still warm, so I still, like, the grease hasn't solidified yet. Let's see, cooked beef. I am gonna weigh this too, just so that I get them even, because I only want 1.5 pounds in each bag. And I just wanna make sure I'm close. My pretty scale, isn't it cute? All right, this is cooked. I've got quite a bit of, I don't know, runoff, grease, whatever. So if you make this on the stove, it's easier to get that out of there because you can just scoop the meat out like I did with that pan. But because I have it in here, I'm just gonna sop it all up with a good old paper towel. Probably need a second round. And I don't mind if there's a little in there because you don't want your tacos to be real dry, but you also don't want them really greasy. So whatever's left in here is fine. I've turned off the saute function. Now here's what we're gonna do. I've got 4 batches of taco seasoning in here. So I found that this method works best in 3-pound increments. So I've got about 3 pounds of meat. I'm going to use 4 packets of taco seasoning, but I'm only adding in the water that you would use for 3 packets. So normally a packet uses about 3/4 of a cup of water. So I'm gonna do that times 3. So we're gonna have 1.5, 2 1/4 cups of water. So it'll be water for 3 packets, but 4 packets of seasoning, if you can follow that. So 3 pounds of meat, 3 packets worth of water, 4 packets of seasoning. So I'm gonna add 2 1/4 cups of water and stir it up. And this will give it like extra flavor. If you add in the extra water as well, then it'll just seem runny. This really makes it pop. I really liked it last time. I always used to do this with my big batches. I would make like 10 pounds at a time, and I'd always use 11 packets. And then I'd freeze most of it, and then we'd have tacos for a few days. But I've cut back on the amount that I make at a time because it's easier to make smaller batches. And when I did this the last time with 3 pounds, it was perfect. It was so good. Could have eaten them all myself. This is ready to go. It's gonna go in the Instant Pot. I'm gonna put it on 30 minutes. And if you're wondering why I do so long, it's because I want it annihilated. I don't want to taste or feel any texture. So I do it for 30 minutes and just let it go. Okay, so now that the meat has pressurized, I'm gonna take the immersion blender and I'm gonna blend it. It is boiling hot, so be careful. And that's another reason why I stopped doing huge batches, because it would splash all over and it's hot. So I do the smaller batches now. Just take it, shove it in there, blend it up. And then what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna pour it into this bowl so it can cool off, and then I can get the next batch going so I can get it in the freezer. Yeah. What? Yeah? You're going to bed. Come here and give me kisses. Ooh, I got night kisses from you. Yeah, right. All righty. Get this next batch in. Same process, going on the saute function. Thank you, love you. Good night. All right, I'm gonna start to get this taco meat bagged up. It's not cooled yet, but I'll let it cool before I get it in the freezer. I'm gonna do about 1.5 pounds in each bag. All right, so here's what we did today. I've got 4 meatloaves, and I said loaves, 4 meatloaves, and 2 different sauces, 1 for each. Then I've got 4 bags of cooked ground beef. I've got 4 bags of meatballs. I've got 2 bags of burgers. There's a dozen in each bag. And then I've got 6 bags of taco meat that's still cooling. So I think that was fairly productive. I'm really happy with this. I got all the meat processed, and this was a good productive day. So I'm really happy with this. I'm gonna get all this crap in the freezer, and I don't know, maybe I'll do an outro, or maybe I'll see you next time.